Agriculture has been associated with the development of human history for thousands of years, and to this day, this industry still plays the most important role in feeding more than 7 billion people on Earth. Any farmer wants to increase productivity and increase income from the farming industry. Many people have applied the combined farming model of garden, pond, barn, and created great profits. So, how does this combined model work? Let's explore it with us now. Simply put, the garden pond barn model is a combination of growing fruit trees or crops in the garden, raising fish and aquatic products in ponds and lakes, and raising livestock, poultry, or other animals. Combining three forms of agriculture in one model will make the most of available resources, create links between livestock activities, help save costs, and increase economic efficiency. This model can be applied everywhere in the world, but is most popular today in China, India, and Southeast Asia. However, not all crops or livestock are effective, because it depends on natural conditions and the market in the area. So, to increase profits from the garden, pond, and barn model, what should farmers do? First, it is necessary to select crops, livestock, and aquatic products suitable for climate, soil, and water conditions. Moreover, farmers also need to research the market to decide which products are easy to consume and have high economic value. Crops can be short-term or long-term crops grown in gardens next to ponds and barns. Farmers can also grow vegetables in combination with shrimp farming and pig or cow farming depending on the consumption demand in the area. With the combination of livestock and crop farming, it helps save labor costs and also ensures that all resources are used reasonably. In the garden, pond, and barn model, farmers make the most of resources from manure to waste products. Water from fish ponds can be used to irrigate gardens or clean barns. Waste products from fish gardens such as grass, leaves, or leftover food are recycled as food for livestock or fish. Manure from livestock and poultry is used as fertilizer for plants and fish food. This is a circular form that can utilize all resources on the farm without wasting any element, including animal waste. Therefore, farmers can save on feed costs, labor costs, and fertilizer costs for crops. To increase efficiency in the garden, pond, and barn model, many farms have used biotechnology to treat manure, creating organic fertilizer or biogas. Building biogas systems helps create natural gas or fuel for generators, thereby saving electricity and industrial gas costs. When the biogas production model is expanded, a new model is born with a higher form: garden, pond, barn, biogas. This form of livestock farming is expanded to large-scale farms with commercial forms, bringing higher economic benefits to farmers, typically livestock farmers. The model of combining gardens, ponds, and barns is not only limited to livestock farming activities, but has also been developed into experiential tourism areas. Here, tourists can visit, learn practically, and apply agricultural models on their own farms. It also provides visitors with direct experiences of planting and harvesting, as well as livestock, poultry, or seafood farming activities. Farmers can earn thousands of dollars in additional income from this farm tourism venture. The garden, pond, and barn model not only helps farmers develop economically, but this circulatory system also helps reduce waste released into the soil, water, and air, helping to protect the surrounding environment, thereby creating a clean environment. It is considered a sustainable livestock system and can develop strongly in the future.
Have you ever seen mantis shrimp raised in plastic cages? It sounds strange, but this is an extremely effective mantis shrimp farming model in Vietnam. With this method, after only 3 to 4 months, farmers can harvest commercial shrimp and sell it for about 50 USD per kilogram. So, what makes this model successful? Let's find out in this video. Mantis shrimp is a food with high nutritional value, providing protein, vitamins, and minerals that are beneficial to the body. In Vietnamese cuisine, mantis shrimp is processed into many diverse dishes with delicious and attractive flavors. Therefore, the demand for mantis shrimp in Vietnam is very high. Consumers are willing to pay from $50 to $80 or more for 1 kilogram. In addition, the natural climate conditions in Vietnam are very suitable for raising mantis shrimp, creating high-quality products. Therefore, the mantis shrimp farming model has brought a stable and sustainable source of income to farmers. In Vietnam, mantis shrimp are mainly exploited and caught in the wild, and their numbers are seriously declining. Previously, there were some models of shrimp farming in earthen ponds, but the efficiency was not high. Therefore, they researched and developed a new model of mantis shrimp farming, which is more efficient. Mantis shrimp farming models are mainly developed in the southern provinces of Vietnam, especially Ca Mau. Mantis shrimp can be raised in tanks or cages in brackish water environments. These innovative models have helped optimize space and create the best conditions for shrimp growth. The model of raising mantis shrimp in plastic cages allows shrimp to grow naturally in brackish water environments. Plastic cages are fixed in brackish water river areas, ensuring the best living conditions for shrimp. This is an easy-to-raise shrimp species that does not require much food because they can completely find natural food themselves. However, farmers need to clean the cages regularly to ensure a clean environment for shrimp to grow. In addition, the indoor mantis shrimp farming model uses a recirculating water system, RAS, or H-Harpax, has also proven its advantages. This model allows mantis shrimp farmers to raise on an industrial scale, regardless of the pond. Shrimp are raised in small boxes or in moderately sized tanks. During the farming process, there is no need to change the water too much, and no use of toxic chemicals or antibiotics for shrimp. Shrimp feed is mainly fresh food such as trash fish, helping to ensure the growth rate of mantis shrimp. When raised in a system without bottom mud, the quality of commercial shrimp is delicious, bright in color, and is favored by consumers. According to analysis, food hygiene and safety standards when raising mantis shrimp in this way meet 100% of Vietnamese standards. The H-Harpax system includes shrimp farming cells measuring 40 by 30 by 17 centimeters with a maximum capacity of 8 liters, neatly arranged, connected to a circulation device and a water treatment system. After treatment, the water will be returned to the farming tank, forming a closed cycle. This also reduces the amount of wastewater discharged directly into the environment, creating a sustainable farming model. The success rate of raising mantis shrimp according to the new model is 80 to 90%. After about 4 months, they have reached commercial size, over 150 grams per shrimp, and can be supplied to the market. According to the report, the recirculating farming technology can bring economic efficiency of about $500 per 1,000 shrimp or crop. Mantis shrimp are currently sold at high prices in the market, especially in large urban areas. With quality mantis shrimp products, the selling price ranges from $50 to $80 per kilogram. Some giant mantis shrimp cost up to $100 per kilogram or more. The profit that this model brings has helped farmers have a significant income. Although the initial investment cost is also relatively high due to the need to install equipment, in the long term, this model still brings high economic efficiency. Compared with traditional farming models, mantis shrimp farming models on modern farms have brought many great advantages. Raising mantis shrimp according to the new model not only brings economic efficiency, but also helps protect the environment. The shrimp farming system has a circulating water treatment system, thereby limiting waste discharge into the environment. However, The mantis shrimp farming industry in Vietnam is also facing certain difficulties. Currently, mantis shrimp breeds are only caught in the natural environment and have not been artificially researched, so the number of breeds cannot meet the demand when this model develops. With the large demand of the market, the mantis shrimp farming industry will have many opportunities to develop in the future. Therefore, modern farming models are the best way to optimize profits for farmers. When it comes to king crab, we may think of its expensive value that people with low incomes can hardly enjoy. However, it is unbelievable that this crab is considered an invasive species that is destroying environment and fishing in Norway. So, why is this expensive crab considered an invasive species? Let's find out! The king crabs of the Norwegian coast are not native, having been introduced from Russia in the 1960s and have flourished since then. Today, millions of red king crabs live along Norway's coast, presenting both opportunities and challenges for the country. The rapid growth of king crabs poses a serious threat to Norway's marine ecosystem. These crabs are voracious carnivores, consuming a wide variety of bottom-dwelling organisms such as mussels, sea urchins, and small fish. Their feeding habits disrupt the ecological balance of the local marine environments, leading to a significant loss of biodiversity. This particularly affects species that play an important role in the food chain or contribute to the health of the seabed, such as kelp forests and coral reefs. Fishing communities in northern Norway have experienced both positive and negative impacts from the king crab invasion. Along with the negative impacts on the ecosystem, king crabs have also had a negative impact on the economies of fishermen in the region. King crabs tend to displace other marine species, leading to reduced catches of fish such as cod, haddock, and halibut in some areas. This has created a new form of competition among fishermen, where traditional fishermen are struggling to maintain their livelihoods. Besides the negative side, invasive king crabs also bring economic development opportunities for coastal fishermen. The most obvious positive trend in the red king crab invasion is that it also opens up new economic opportunities for people in the area. Crabs are a high-value commodity in the global seafood market, especially in Asia and Europe. In Norway, king crab fishing has become a lucrative industry, attracting both local fishermen and international interest. The high market price of king crabs have turned the invasion into a profitable business, creating jobs and economic benefits for coastal communities. Fishermen who had previously focused on cod or other traditional fish species turned their efforts to crab fishing and found it more profitable. This led to the development of specialized equipment and methods for catching and processing these large crabs, further boosting the local economy. To balance the ecosystem and overcome the challenges, the Norwegian government needs to put in place measures to manage the king crab population. In designated areas, especially around eastern Finnmark, the crab population is managed by catch quotas to maintain a balance between economic exploitation and ecological conservation. In these areas, fishermen are allowed to catch king crab, providing a stable supply to meet market demand. However, fishermen must comply with size limits, catch regulations, and specific seasons. Outside this area, eradication and population control targets are in place. The government encourages fishermen to catch and kill as many crabs as possible to prevent further expansion. This policy is intended to prevent the spread of king crab to more sensitive areas, particularly ecosystems further south along the Norwegian coast. This dual approach has proven effective in controlling the spread of king crab, but it will remain a major challenge for the seafood industry in the future. Currently, demand for the asset, especially king crab, remains high, so the king crab fishery is likely to continue to thrive. Future control policies will need to balance this economic interest with the need to preserve Norway's unique and fragile marine ecosystem. The Norwegian government's management of the invasive red king crab is a combination of economic use and ecological management. Through careful management and monitoring, Norway aims to strike a balance between protecting the environment and reaping the economic benefits of the king crab invasion. However, vigilance is needed to ensure the long-term sustainability of both the environment and the fishery. Around $250 a kilo. That's the price of vanilla, the world's second most expensive spice. This precious gift from nature to Madagascar, bringing income to thousands of smallholder farms in the northeast of the island. However, is it easy to produce this green gold? To answer this question, let's explore how farmers grow and harvest vanilla in Madagascar. Don't miss today's video for more interesting information. The vanilla bean originated in Mexico and was introduced to Madagascar in 1880. Since then, cultivation has spread to the eastern regions of the island, where the climate is similar to their native region. Madagascar exports nearly 2,500 tons of vanilla each year, accounting for 70% of the world's supply. According to the Central Bank of Madagascar, the industry generated about $602 million in revenue in 2021. Vanilla is very popular and is widely used in the culinary, perfume, and beauty industries. However, to get these products, vanilla has to go through a very long and laborious production process. The journey to get the world's second most expensive spice is not simple. First, it takes 3 to 4 years after planting for the vanilla plant to mature and be ready to produce its first flowers. Then, farmers will need several weeks to pollinate the flowers by hand. Next, it takes another 9 months for the fruit to ripen and another 6 months to process the vanilla beans. All of these processes require a lot of effort and care to create the highest quality product. Vanilla plants need to grow in tropical climates with about 2,500 millimeters of rainfall per year and temperatures between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius. Vanilla plants will be propagated by cuttings from a host tree. Each time they are planted, farmers can harvest about 10 crops, lasting about 13 to 15 years. Farm renovation needs to be continuous to avoid waiting without yield. During the growing period, farmers will prune and bend the plants down to increase the ability to flower, making it easier to care for and harvest the fruit. You may not know, vanilla plants are not capable of self-pollination, so farmers have to do it almost 100% by hand. Although a vanilla plant can produce 1,000 flowers, only 5 to 30% are selected for pollination. Farmers will use a toothpick to turn the stigma up, then use their fingers to press the male pistil into the female pistil. If they're lucky, these flowers will continue to develop into green vanilla beans. About 7 to 9 months of pollination, the vanilla bean will begin to ripen. It looks quite like a giant green bean on the outside, but inside it contains thousands of small seeds. The ideal time to harvest vanilla is before the pod is fully ripe, when the tip of the pod is pale yellow. Then, these vanilla beans will be brought back to start processing. During the production and harvesting process, green vanilla beans are bitter and have no aroma, Only after going through a complex processing process will it have a special aroma. This processing can take from 5 to 6 months, including the steps of sorting, washing, and blanching the vanilla beans in hot water for about 60 to 90 seconds to disable and prevent the shell from cracking. Then, they quickly put all the vanilla beans in a container and cover it with a blanket to incubate for about 2 days. This fermentation process will help create an enzyme reaction, stimulating the release of vanilla aroma. When the vanilla beans turn brown, they will start to expose them to the sun for at least 3 hours a day and wrap them in boxes at night. This process takes place regularly for about 15 to 30 days until the vanilla bean turns chocolate brown and the moisture content drops to 29 to 34%. One of the most important but little known steps in vanilla bean processing is refining in wooden boxes. The vanilla beans are placed in wooden boxes to slow down the drying process, but still prolong the reaction of the enzymes that develop the aroma. However, this step requires good control to avoid mold in the vanilla beans. This stage lasts at least 4 months, in some cases up to 2 years, to produce high-quality vanilla beans. Finally, the vanilla beans will be sorted by length and moisture content before being sent to factories to extract vanilla essential oil. The average yield of each vanilla tree in Madagascar is 250 to 500 grams. However, to get this product, each tree will have to harvest 1 kilogram of green vanilla. There are about 80,000 people in Madagascar growing vanilla on an area of about 25,000 hectares. The industry has created jobs and provided people with a valuable source of income, helping them earn a stable income and improve their quality of life. With a large amount of vanilla exported to the world, the vanilla industry is driving Madagascar's economy. Climate change leads to unstable weather, causing crop failures and affecting vanilla productivity. Vanilla production requires a lot of work, which is why child labor is common in Madagascar. In addition, the high value of vanilla also causes many problems, most notably theft. Farmers have had to take many measures to protect their property. Despite the challenges, it is undeniable that the vanilla industry has brought positive values to Madagascar. Beekeeping in bottles, an idea that sounds strange but is being successfully applied by American farmers. Each year, the United States produces about 163 million pounds of honey, and many beekeepers own thousands of hives. The beekeeping industry is not only a huge source of income, up to billions of dollars each year, but also has many interesting things. Check out these unique beekeeping models in the video below. The beekeeping industry in the United States is truly thriving, with an estimated 115,000 to 125,000 beekeepers, with approximately 3.8 million honey-producing bee colonies. Although domestic honey production reaches over 160 million pounds per year, this is still not enough to meet the consumer demand of nearly 618 million pounds per year, an average of 1.3 pounds per person. As a result, the United States has to import honey, with imports increasing by about 73% over the years. This has prompted many farmers to look for innovative solutions to increase honey production. One of these solutions is beekeeping in plastic bottles, which not only saves costs, but also has many other benefits. Instead of investing in expensive beehives, they use recycled plastic bottles to create their own beehives. The process is very simple. First, they will prepare large plastic bottles combined with wooden bars to form a beehive. This beekeeping method is suitable for those on a tight budget or just starting out, because the initial investment cost is not too large and can almost take advantage of available items. The method of beekeeping in bottles is also known as contactless beekeeping. One of the main advantages is that this method allows honey to be harvested without disturbing the bee colony. This is not only beneficial for the health of the bees, but also ensures the safety of the beekeeper. When installing, the hives need to be protected from direct sunlight and need a layer of insulation. The best way is to place them in a shady place, under the canopy of trees, to limit the increase in temperature. In addition, a revolution in beekeeping has also been responded to by American farmers. That is the flow hive model, an automatic honey collection system. Instead of having to wear protective gear and use smoke to stun the bees, the flow hive is designed with a tube to lead the honey out. The honeycomb is hexagonal in shape, just like real honey. After synthesizing honey, the bees will fill the honeycomb holes with honey. The honey flows from the holes through the pipes and into the honey jars placed outside. This method of beekeeping with flow hive not only ensures safety, but also limits the situation of the bee colony being disturbed during the honey harvesting process. 3D printed honeycombs are also the perfect choice to optimize space and living conditions for the bee colony. This type of hive is created using 3D printing technology, designed for indoor use, providing a controlled environment for the bee colony. The hive can be fully expanded or adjusted by adding additional parts. This type of hive also allows beekeepers to easily monitor and care for their bees. On average, a bee colony can take 4 to 6 months to produce enough honey to harvest, depending on the size of the colony and the different areas where the bees are kept. Most beekeepers will harvest honey 2 or sometimes 3 times a year. After harvesting honey from the hives, farmers will separate the honey from the beeswax using an extractor. The thick drops of honey will then be filtered to remove impurities and poured into glass jars before being sold. The honey will need to be quality tested before reaching consumers. Beekeeping has brought significant profits to farmers, with each pound of honey fetching about $2.98. Not only does it help farmers increase their income by selling honey, but beekeeping also brings many other important values. According to statistics, honeybees contribute nearly $20 billion annually to global food production, because honeybees are able to pollinate flowers for crops. The agricultural industry is increasingly dependent on flower pollination services, leading to income from pollination services that can reach more than $30,000. Every year, beekeepers will transport their bees to agricultural areas that need pollination, contributing to increased crop yields. However, the beekeeping industry also faces many challenges. According to a recent survey, the rate of bee colony loss is up to 48.2%. Parasites and climate change are the main causes of this situation. Scientists and farmers are working hard to find solutions to protect and develop bee colonies. Australia is home to one of the largest feral cattle populations in the world, and over the past decade, they have also caused many agricultural and ecological problems in Australia. In recent years, feral cattle have become a new source of economic development for Australian farmers, as they have found unique and sustainable ways to control the population. That is, how to turn wild cattle meat into organic meat and market it in the premium market. So, let's explore how Australian farmers process wild beef. Feral cattle are descendants of farmed cattle that escaped or were released into the wild and over time have established large feral populations, particularly in northern Australia. Feral cattle thrive in remote, isolated areas where they graze freely, but can also cause significant damage to natural ecosystems. Uncontrolled reproduction and a lack of natural predators have led to their increasing numbers, causing concern among farmers and environmentalists. While traditional methods of disposal, including destroying or removing them from the property, are resource-intensive and ineffective, many Australian farmers are adopting more sustainable solutions that turn challenges into opportunities. To effectively deal with the problem of feral cows, the first step is to capture them. Australian farmers use a variety of methods to capture feral cows without causing unnecessary stress and harm. One approach, a common approach, is to use helicopters to gather them, guiding the animals into cages. Once captured, the cows are transported to holding facilities where they are health checked and given time to acclimate. Care must be taken by farmers to minimize stress during transport and handling, and high animal welfare standards are an important part of producing organic products. Wild cattle will acclimate for a while to organic farms, which ensure that the cattle are raised on pasture with a natural diet without synthetic fertilizers or pesticides. Once the cattle are ready for slaughter, they are transported to accredited processing facilities, where the processing is carried out according to strict guidelines. This ensures that the animals are treated with respect throughout their lives and that the slaughter process is as humane as possible. Certified organic beef slaughterhouses follow strict regulations to ensure that stress is minimized at the time of slaughter. This not only aligns with ethical animal husbandry principles, but also improves the quality of the meat. Large-capacity cattle slaughterhouses are built across Australia, producing tons of meat every day to ensure adequate supply of meat for consumption. Processing facilities are equipped with modern chain technology in all processes. The meat from these wild cattle is carefully processed to maintain its organic certification. The meat is free of hormones, antibiotics, and synthetic additives, making it highly sought after in both domestic and international markets. The end product is premium organic beef that appeals to health-conscious consumers and those concerned about sustainability and animal welfare. Converting wild beef to organic meat has both environmental and economic benefits. Environmentally, it helps to reduce the ecological damage caused by wild cattle. Sustainable management of wild cattle prevents further degradation of landscapes and conserves native flora and fauna. Economically, the organic beef market is growing rapidly and demand for high-quality meat is increasing both in Australia and overseas. By tapping into this market, Australian farmers can generate significant income from what was once considered an environmental nuisance. Wild beef is prized for its leaner texture and distinctive flavor, which comes from the animal's natural grazing habits. Turning wild cattle into organic meat is not only a solution to environmental problems, but also a model for sustainable agriculture. Through humane, ethical fishing methods and animal-friendly practices, environmentally, Australian farmers are leading the way in producing organic beef while protecting their country's unique ecosystems. In the world for its great taste and high price, Wagyu beef is bred and grown on farms around the world. Although it originated in Japan, Australia is famous for its scale of Wagyu beef production and processing. Australian Wagyu beef is exported to many regions around the world and creates a famous brand. So, does the process of producing and processing Australian Wagyu beef meet standards? Standard compared to Japan? Let's find out together. In Japan, the Wagyu beef industry is deeply rooted in tradition, with a focus on quality over quantity. Cows are typically raised in small herds, allowing farmers to closely monitor and care for each animal. Wagyu beef is processed in Japan under strict guidelines to ensure the meat maintains its high quality standards. After being raised for approximately 30 months, the cattle are slaughtered in highly regulated facilities. These processing plants adhere to strict hygiene and handling procedures to ensure the safety of the meat. The special thing about Japanese Wagyu beef is that it is classified based on a standard marbling score numbered from 1 to 12. The higher the score, the more marbling. Only beef numbered 6 or higher is classified as premium Wagyu beef. With strict production processes at processing facilities, Japanese Wagyu beef has affirmed its unique brand worldwide. So, does Australia breed and produce Wagyu beef according to Japanese methods? And how was the taste of Australian Wagyu beef compared to the original taste in Japan? Australia is one of the world's largest producers of Wagyu beef. Although they import Wagyu cattle from Japan, Australian farmers have developed their own unique methods of raising and processing this expensive breed of cattle. While Japan has prioritized traditional practices, Australia has adopted a more industrial approach to Wagyu beef production to meet global demand. However, Australian farmers maintain high standards of care for their herds, focusing on producing consistent, high-quality beef. Unlike traditional large-scale farming in Japan, Australian Wagyu cattle are typically raised on large farms where they have access to pasture before being fed grain to enhance the marbling of the meat. The grain feeding process typically lasts between 30 and 50 days, during which time each cow is closely monitored to ensure that they achieve the desired marbling. Unlike Japan, where cows are cared for almost individually, Australian farms manage larger herds, using advanced technology to monitor and optimize cow health and diet. The slaughter and processing of Australian Wagyu beef is also subject to strict health and safety regulations, overseen by government agencies such as the Australian Meat Industry Council and the Department of Agriculture. Australian processing plants are also more automated than those in Japan, allowing for larger-scale beef processing. These plants use advanced technology to ensure that beef is slaughtered and packaged efficiently while maintaining the high standards expected of Wagyu. While Japan grades Wagyu meat according to its marbling, in Australia, experts take into account factors such as tenderness, flavor, and juiciness in addition to marbling. High-quality Australian Wagyu beef is often exported to international markets, especially in Asia and the United States. Compared to Japan, Australian Wagyu beef is aged for a longer period of time, usually 28 to 60 days, to develop the flavor and tenderness of the meat. The aging process is usually carried out in a temperature-controlled environment to ensure consistent quality. After aging, the beef is vacuum sealed and packaged for export. You can easily find Australian Wagyu beef on the menus of high-end restaurants and supermarkets around the world. While Japan consumes most of its Wagyu beef domestically, only a small portion is exported to international markets. In contrast, Australia produces a large amount of Wagyu beef for export, making it a major player in the global premium beef markets. Although originating from Japan, Australian Wagyu beef farms do not apply Japanese production technology, but instead apply high-tech, large-scale production to produce Wagyu beef for export worldwide. Despite different production methods, Japan and Australia are both aiming to create the highest quality Wagyu beef products that are sought after worldwide.